Great in the kingdom, God's eternal grading system. Jesus tells us there's a hierarchy in heaven, a ranking or metric whereby some believers are counted great and others least in God's kingdom. Matthew 5:19. Though salvation is by grace and not by works, 2 Timothy 1:9, works are evidently very important. Romans 2:9. Jesus Christ explains the standard by which he will measure us all to define this eternal ranking in his kingdom. He lays it out very plainly. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:19. Jesus is talking about Torah, the Mosaic law. He will evaluate everyone in his kingdom by how we have respected Torah, his law, the law of God. Did we do our best to keep it all as a manner of life and encourage others to do so? Or did we break certain parts of it and encourage others to do so? So Jesus will give every one of his children a grade in heaven based on how we kept his law. Even the least of his commandments, the seemingly obsolete and obscure laws he laid out for us in the Old Testament, in Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Do we love them? Romans 7:22, and try our best to love and honor him in keeping them? John 14:21. Or do we ignore some or all of them? Romans 2:8 and 9. Jesus mentions two grades in his kingdom, great and least. In other words, we're evidently either getting an A plus or an F. Clearly, those trying to convince us God's law is just for Jews, if they're in God's kingdom at all, are ignorantly aiming for an F, and they want us to be at the bottom as well. Not smart. We don't even know what sin is apart from Torah. Romans 7:7. How can we strive against sin, Hebrews 12:4, if we have no clue what it actually is? Jesus' focus on obedience to the least of his commandments tells us they're all important. He wasn't careless or arbitrary in giving us his law. If we break any of his commandments on purpose, we expose ourselves as lawbreakers. James 2:10. Those who despise his law and trample him underfoot. Hebrews 10:28 and 29. Those who don't yet know Jesus Christ as judge don't yet know him as he is. Hebrews 10:29 and 31. Those of us who do serve him with fear and rejoice with trembling. Psalm 2:11, Philippians 2:12.